Thank you so much, and thank you, WinInvest, for throwing a fabulous event. Guys, you are so lucky of having some of the great masterminds of an education out here regarding about learning how to trade the markets. Just remember, guys, that 80 to 90% of the people in this world fail in trading for one reason: ignorance and trying to be self-taught. And you guys, obviously, the smart ones, leading to the direction of taking the time to learn how to do it, and that's the most important part about it. If you want to do it as a career, because it's not something you can learn. So, like I just mentioned earlier, there's some great presenters here. I recommend that every single one of you here should sample a little bit of everyone's product, because we have some great stock traders, day traders like myself, futures traders, options traders, and everybody thinks, that this is for you, and you don't know until you try a little bit of everything. But, you need to try it and see what it's all about, and then you can go back and find the person that's for you, because every one of you are not going to just need one, but you may need several mentors to make you successful when it comes to trading, ladies and gentlemen, because this is not a one-on-one type of thing. So with that said, first of all, once again, thanks again, WinInvest, for having me here. Just want to do a quick audio check and get to know a little bit about everyone here. Have any of you guys ever seen me do a speaking before? Just give me a yes or a no. Just like to kind of like get to know a little about Michaela. Okay, good to see you. Carl hasn't, Bill hasn't, Peter. Just want to get to know a little bit about the audience so I know what I should talk about. If I have some people that have been here for a while, I want to repeat things, but I like to teach a lot of new stuff too. Okay, so Carl, no. Peter, no. Dan, you did. Okay. Frank, no. Urkel, no. Okay. Daniel, Raymond, no. Got a lot of no's. Posey, you have yes. Okay, good. All right, so excellent. Joe, you haven't. Vin, you have. Okay. And just out of curiosity, guys, where did you guys hear me last? Was it on Cybertree University, or was it another event, at one of the expos at CTU? Okay. Or is it at a speaking that I did, just out of curiosity? CTU, you heard? Okay. This morning, Kathleen. All right. Trade Station. Okay, good. So some of you probably saw me at Think or Swim. All right, good. Also, a student, you just started. Well, thank you very much, Chris, for being here. All right, so with that said, guys, we'll welcome all my students being here. That's great. But there are a lot of people here that don't know me, and you know what? Let's go out there and learn a little bit about what trading is all about. Now, I don't want to kind of bore everybody too much with the whole introduction and all, but just to let you know, guys, a little bit about myself and about Cybertree University. I'm also the author of a book of how to beat market makers at their own game. I've traveled around the world, and let me tell you something. I love trading, and not only do I love trading, I love teaching more. And the reason why is because I was you over 20 years ago. I lost miserably. I was self-taught. I was a young 22 ignorant kid. And but by living in New York and seeing that this is the financial capital of the world, I'm wondering, why is everyone so interested about Wall Street? Why is everybody making so much money on Wall Street? I was invited to go to parties in the Hamptons. If some of you don't know what it is, going to people's homes. They're renting homes in the Hamptons for 3 months, paying $2 million, $5 million. I'm like, you could buy a mansion for that, and they're just renting it. What are these people doing? How do I access that? Well, it's the trading department. They make money in trading. And so I said, you know what? I tried to do it on my own, and I failed miserably. Fortunately for me, knowing people in the industry, they says, Fausto, the only way you're going to learn is you got to get a job, and you have to work as a trader. Now, back then, it's the most prestigious job in the world. Very hard to get a job like that. Your father has to be, or your friend has to be your best friend that runs certain brokerage firms. So anyway, make a long story short, I got a job, and let me tell you what you're about to learn today. What I've learned on the first day on the job, I should have never made my first trade, because I was trading totally blind and totally opposite of everything that was supposed to be done. All you need to do, ladies and gentlemen, what you're about to learn is follow the money. That's all you need to do. I know it sounds ridiculous and simple. They're like, yeah, I know we're trying to do that, Fausto. Listen, that's all you have to do. Follow the money. Well, like you just heard earlier, I started when I was 22, and I was semi-retired at the age of 24. Why was that? Listen, I was a 22-year-old kid. back in the early 90s, making about over $250,000 a year, which is, I don't know if you call that retirement money, but for 24, that's a lot of money back then. And I was only working an hour a day. Well, what I learned from the brokerage firms is this. The only way you could continue and build up your wealth is you have to surround yourself with a team of traders. You can't trade by yourself. So what I did was I started training people how to trade, and a lot of them are now my students, and they're part of my family, which all of you are going to have the opportunity to meet them all and see what it's like to be in a real professional trading environment. By the way, anyone here part of a trading room? And with students and with the instructors and mentors, any of you part of that, or are you trading by yourself? Just out of curiosity. I know, Michaela, obviously. Got a couple of yeses, a lot of no's. All right. Well, we're going to fix that problem, okay? Because obviously it's a very tough problem. Now, when it comes to trading, ladies and gentlemen, this is obviously my on-site. Actually, I'm doing this tomorrow. We do this twice a year. We have a lot of our on-site students that come in. I have two families. You can see my lovely wife and my three children, Alex, Lucas, and Max. And the reason why I share my family is with you because trading is a family environment. If you can't trust the people you're with, then you obviously can't be with them. When it comes to trading, I trust my family over the day, and obviously I trust my students. But you got to know how to play the game when it comes to trading. So a couple of things we're going to learn. We're going to learn how traps. We're going to talk about how to, not to worry about high frequency tradings and algorithms with people like, ooh, got to be careful of that. Listen, that data is available to you. Do you know why people don't know about that data? Because they don't want to spend money. And let me explain something to you, ladies and gentlemen, and this is very important. And don't take this the wrong way, but don't take this the wrong way. But we're very straightforward here in New York. Trading is not cheap. Okay, nothing is free in this world other than the cheese and the mousetrap. So if you really want to learn it, I'm telling you right now, ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to make money getting free stuff because if it's free, that's all it's worth. You might, and I'm not talking about spending thousands, tens of thousands. Listen, you could spend a couple of $100s. Listen, let me tell you why I failed when I started. To get the data I'm about to show you, okay, to get the data that I showed you, I used to pay $2,000 a month. Now, if I came out here and told you to pay $2,000 a month for data, you'd be like, maybe you try them on my own. Well, when I failed, then I realized why I need that data. And the data I'm talking about is, seeing the orders, all right, where you see the institutions are and all that good stuff. So remember, there are three mystery doors of people that are here. Obviously, it's the people that want to get educated. There's the people that are going to deal with a broker. But obviously, you want to be, in door number 3, choose your account and return to your day job because do this right or don't do it at all. All right. So as I told you, 90% of the people fail in trading. We're going to try to fix that today. And by having today's event, you have so many great presenters. You should know you're going to learn a little bit about everything that has to do with the market. You're getting hundreds of years of education from experience from great traders, but you got to learn how the system works. All right, so that's what we're going to talk about right now. All right, so let's start learning how to trade, ladies and gentlemen, because I got less than 45 minutes to kind of educate you guys a little bit. So what we're going to focus on is something very important, following the money. That's all we need to focus on right now, ladies and gentlemen. Follow the money. Now, how do we do that? Well, with an execution system that you trade off with a brokerage account, that platform that you're looking at where you place your buys and sells, they give you data. And basically what you're seeing is orders. You're seeing where the stock is trading at, right? So you got 3 different levels that they offer. Level 1, level 2, and level 3. Now, question for all of you. In order, could you guys tell me what you have? Are you guys trading on a level 1 system, a level 2, a level 3? If you don't know the answer, give me a big fat question mark. So I want to get to know a little bit about everyone here. Level 1, if you don't know what it is, I'll just tell you. It's basically, it's a quote what the stock's trading at. So if you're looking at CNBC right now and you see the quotes coming down the bottom, that's level 1. Level 2, you're getting a little bit more data. You're getting to see the market makers. You get to see what they want to buy it for. Level 3 is where you see all the institutions. Okay, so Joe, Peter, Mohammed, all you guys don't even know what I'm talking about. Dan's using level 1. Alvaro's using level 2. Chris, obviously, yes, being a student, using level 3, level 1, level 1. So, guys, let me ask you all an honest question. Now, think about this for a second. How do stocks go up and down in the market? Or in any market? How did things go up and down? Could you guys answer that question for me, please? I want to see if you guys, if you don't know the answer, give me a question mark. Well, that's right, Brian, bid and ask. But the real answer is buying and selling, right? Supply and demand, right? So do you want to, now this is going to basically make you realize that you obviously, a lot of us are trading blind. How many of you here are monitoring the buyers and sellers? How many of you here are monitoring the supply and demand? Well, some of you are saying yes, a lot of you are saying no. So why would you trade a stock or any market without even knowing where the buyers and sellers are? I mean, what makes you more qualified to know than Goldman Sachs? Okay, what makes you a better trader, than a lot of the ECNs that are out there? What makes you better than Morgan Stanley? Wouldn't you want to watch what Morgan Stanley's doing, knowing that he's a big upgrade and downgrader in the stock, knowing what he's doing? Dan, see, that's false. Technical analysis was invented by mathematicians, not traders. And when you look at a technical analysis, that the problem with technical analysis, it's what happened in the past. It's not indicative of the future. And where is the technical analysis getting its data from, Dan? Think about it. Where is it getting that data? From buying and selling. Well, now what happens? The problem is it's a lagger. You don't want to be a lagger. You want to be a leader. You don't want to see after the effect. You want to see the orders are out there. So the thing is this. We're going to focus on something called level 3. Because the difference between 1, 2, and 3 is level 3 is going to give you 20 times more data than level 2, and it's going to give you over 100 times more data than level 1. Why is that? I'm going to show you. Bob, where did you hear that phrase dark pools? First of all, this is not a dark pool, and nobody could see a dark pool, and if anybody brings up the word dark pool, they obviously don't know what they're talking about because they're not market makers. And I'll explain to you what a dark pool is. First of all, go to Investopedia, okay, Investopedia.com, and you could see a 30-minute video of what a dark pool is. They'll give a good explanation of it. All right. Secondly, I'm just going to tell you point blank what it is. A dark pool is a cross trade within a brokerage firm. Okay, so it's like, you and I work for Goldman Sachs, and your client wants to sell, Apple. My client wants to buy Apple, so we're going to cross the trade. But we're not going to go to the street and put the order out there, where the institutions have to post their orders. So it's like they're going to trade within the brokerage house, so you can't see those orders. All right, so what you can see is the high frequency trades, which is what we want to see, because what happens is if that broker can't cross the trade with his brokerage account, then there's only one other place he can get in and out of it. He's got to go to the street. And this is what we're going to look at. We're going to look at the orders on the street. All right. Now, we're going to make smarter decisions, not just having the information, but the right information. So what we're looking at right here is one of the execution systems we use called the TradeStation platform. And right here on the right-hand side is called the Matrix. All right. Now, I'm going to invite all of you guys to come. I'm going to do a little bit more of a detailed presentation on this because I'm very short for time here. So I'm going to do more of a crash course of what we're looking at, okay? But every one of you here, I'm going to give you all the opportunity. If you want to learn more about this, you can come back and, like I said, register, and it's just something I want you to do. I'm not going to charge you for it, but I definitely want you to know if this is for you or not. So what it is basically, I assume a lot of you know how to read a chart. So let's look at a chart really quick. Here you have a chart. Hold on, let me get my little cursor out here. I apologize. All right, there we go. So here you have a stock. It went from 930 all the way up to about 970, okay? And it did it from 10:30 in the morning to 12 o'clock. Now, that's day trading, and that's actually a really nice profit. Imagine you bought a stock at 930, you sold it at 970, you make 40 cents on 1,000 shares. It's $400 times that 2,000 a week. You're talking about, with 2,500 a week, talking 100,000 a year. Not bad for a day's pay for about an hour and a half. That's what day trading is. But the question is, it came down. Why did it come down? Well, the reason why it came down is because the red are the sellers, the blue are the buyers. And if you look right here at 970, there's a 14,000 share seller out there, okay? And also at 965. So the reason why the stock was having a tough time breaking 65 and 70 is because you had a lot of orders out there. People already had their limit orders out there to sell. Now, this data is all available to you. And yes, okay, this is not free, okay? Because people ask me, is this free? No, it's not free, okay? But it's cheap. I don't know, it's like $15 a month. Anybody got a problem? Let me ask you a question. Anybody have a problem paying like $37 to get data to see orders out there? If you could see 70% of the volume, 70% of the buyers and sellers in the stock you are, would you pay 37 bucks? You'll be amazed, ladies and gentlemen, that 90% of these people in the world will still not pay the $37. Okay? And guess what? Those are the people we want to play against. All right? It's the people that, don't want to see this data, because you know what? Those are the ones that are behind the 8 ball. Here's another example. Look at this stock right here, CALI, okay? Stock went from 220 all the way up to about $3. Do the math, about 80 cents. But look at the $3 order, right? There was a 15,000 share, and when it hit $3, now it came back to 280. How many of you here could say, you know what, damn, I wish I sold that stock. Why is it going down? Oh, I could have sold it 10 minutes earlier and could have made an extra $300-400 on that trade. Why didn't I sell it? Why is it going down now? Well, did you see the 15,000 share order out there, guys? Any of you guys see that? Probably not. Does this apply only to stocks and can be applied towards futures from Dan? Well, Dan, you know what? That's a great question, and I know that you're going to have some good futures traders coming up in the next few moments, and you could ask them, but I only trade stocks, okay? I do a little options, and I do some swing trading, okay? I'm not a futures guy. First of all, I'm not a jack of all trades, and I don't pretend to be. I only stick what I know best, but look at me as a doctor. You know what? I do brain surgery. You have a heart condition. I'm not going to fix your heart too, but I could recommend 2 or 3 people that are the best in the industry, and you got a couple of them coming up. Okay. How do we know these large orders will not be pulled? That's a great question. Okay. Well, that's where time and sales come in. Okay. And that's what we're going to talk about in the next few moments. But what happens, we call these iceberg orders. All right. So look what happened to this stock, ladies and gentlemen. CALI went up 50 cents. In 9 minutes, look what happened. The stock dropped. It dropped literally from 360 all around to $3. Why did the stock drop? Okay, well, because there was an iceberg order out there. Any big block orders that are 10 times of the norm that most people put out there, we call them iceberg orders. Now, getting back to NG's question, how do you know these are real orders? How do you know they're not being canceled orders? Well, there's something called time and sales, which you get with every execution system. So anybody here using the feature on their platform called time and sales? Anybody use time and sales? All right, while everybody's answering that, I had 2 questions that came across. Steve's question says, is level 3 available for futures markets? Once again, when you get a futures trader, you could ask them for that, okay? I don't know, because like I told you, I don't trade futures. Jonathan's question, will this work? Well, a few of you said futures, actually. Mike says this work for Forex. You know what? I don't know. I don't trade Forex. You got to ask a Forex trader. See, this is what I'm trying to educate you, and this is what Win Invest is doing. You're hearing from some of the greatest minds in the different exchanges. My expertise is the stock market. So you're learning a little bit, and you have to make a decision what is going to give you the least amount of risk with the most amount of reward. So when you go out there in trading and you're listening to people here, you have to see like, oh, now I know how futures trade. Now I know how options trade. Now I know why he's trading this way, that way. And then you need to make a decision, okay, I need to learn from that mentor because this looks like something that I can relate to. So that's where that comes out. Well, Dan, I didn't get to that point yet. That's a great question. Dan's question, do you have a system to pick the right stocks in your system? Absolutely. But the problem, Dan, is how do you know what stock to pick if you don't even know what's moving? All right. And how do you know it's going to go up or down? I mean, listen, there were a lot of stocks that moved today. All right. Like I just mentioned you one earlier. The stock, and I'll bring this over to you really quick. Did you guys see the stocks? We just talked about it. CALI. That stock went from $1.50 all the way to $4. Look at that. Okay. In a matter of 3 days. By the way, guys, do the math. If you bought the stock at $1.50 and you sold it at $4, how much money did you make? How much money did you make, guys? A lot, right? $2.50. Times that by 1,000 shares. How much money is that? Do the math. 2,500. Very good. Could you imagine doing that every single day? That's why people love day trading. Now, the question is, how did you know it was going to stop at 4? Because right now we're at 360, right? Well, when you look over here, back in February 14th, it was a major resistance levels. Well, what makes a resistance levels, everybody? Let's see how good listeners you guys are. What makes a resistance level? Sellers. Well, how do you know that the seller was out there? Why did it stop at 4? Why didn't it stop at 320, 340? Why didn't it stop at $3? Why did it go all the way up to this price? Why didn't it stop at 380? Why 340? How many of you guys sold things too cheap? This is what you learn. Right. You got to follow the iceberg orders. Okay? So, and by the way, let me tell you one other last thing, because someone also mentioned something about commissions. All right? As a trader, your least worries right now is brokerage firms' commissions. If you're worried about commissions and paying a lousy $2, $3 a ticket, $5 a ticket to make $2,500 or $500 or $300, if you're worrying about ticket charges, I'm just telling you right now, do yourself a favor. Please close your brokerage account and go back to your day job. Because if you're worrying about ticket charges, you'll never make money in trading. That's the guy that comes in the showroom and says, oh, and wants to buy a car, buy a Mercedes or a BMW, and has to say, oh yeah, but what's the gas mileage? You know, there's an old saying, son, if you're worrying about the gas mileage, you can't afford the car. So if you're worried about ticket charges, ladies and gentlemen, then you really can't afford to trade. It's part of doing business, all right? Because let me tell you something, and that's a great question, because that is everybody's biggest question. Fausto, who do you trade with? Who's got the cheapest tickets? What about the best execution system? You know, that's the way you have to look at it. Listen, like I told you earlier, ladies and gentlemen, I have a passion to teach. I hate seeing people lose money. Think about it. There's over 200 to 300 people logged in right now. Could you imagine that 90% of the people in this room are going to lose money? Do you want to be part of those people? No, absolutely not. So don't be ignorant. You got to do things right or don't do it at all. And that's why you're here, and that's why I love teaching people. Because remember, I was one of the failure rates, and we don't want to be there. Now let's talk about time and sales. Did you know that the chart gets its data from time and sales? These are confirmations of trades that are going off. Look all the greens. That means trades are going off on the offer. That's why the stock's going up. Did you need an indicator to tell you that? Do you need the chart to tell you that? Or one of you mentioned, how do you know that the big orders are getting executed? Time and sales. And by the way, this applies for everything. So just by knowing where the direction of the stock is going and seeing the time and sales window helps you to know where to get in and where to get out of that position. Oh, by the way, I almost forgot to mention. I want to go back to this screen. CALI. You see the resistance levels there? Right below $4, right? Look what happened today. Stock went from $3 all the way to $4, came right back down to $3.40. Look where it is going right now. You see what a coincidence is? This, by the way, is day trading. We trade the stock in the morning. And you could see it right here. And at 9:30, up until about 10 o'clock, the stock went from $3 to almost $4. And you do the math, guys. If you could work 30 minutes a day and make $1 a day on 1,000 shares, $1,000 a day, that's why people love day trading. There's your $250,000 job. And guess what? You can sleep better at night. You might be able to go to start a new business, but that's what trading is all about. That's what we do. All right? Does Thinkorswim apply the phone as level 2 info? Can I pay to see the information? I'm new to trading. Well, Jeremy, this is what I'm going to want you to do, okay? Obviously, I got your attention. And by the way, Jeremy, if you look at my name on Thinkorswim, look at some of the archives on their Wednesdays on the web. I go as far back as with Tom Sosnoff, the founder of it, and you'll probably find 30, 40 videos, recordings that I did with them. Great platform, but once again, you need to know how to use that platform. It's good. It's great for certain things, but it can be bad for others. We're brokerage firm neutral. I'm not a brokerage firm, okay? I'm a trader. I'm a day trader. I was a market maker. I run a professional trading room. I teach people how to trade, but you got to know how to use that system first. And you know what? Sometimes those executions could do more harm than good. All right. So moving on, ladies and gentlemen, with a couple other positions, talking about time and sales. You know, going out there and getting someone to tell you the crystal ball of what's going up and going down is great. But if you don't know how to speak the language, you know, listen, I'm going to be a car salesman, okay? I'm going to be a car salesman. Everybody would like a Ferrari, a Porsche, a Lamborghini, right? Even if you have the money. But just because, like, oh, look at this car, it's so fast, it's so sexy, you know, I'm going to be a big shot. But if you don't know how to drive, how do you know that car's practical for you? You understand? So you don't have to go out there and buy the car if you don't know how to drive first. Well, now what I like to do, ladies and gentlemen, is teach you what the right car is. Because some of you are probably saying, well, Fausto, how did you find CALI? How did that stock go up 400%? How did you know it was going to go up? I didn't see it. I'm still stuck looking at Facebook, you know, and it's not going anywhere. I mean, it's going somewhere, but obviously not 300-400% a day. Well, that's what I'm going to tell you right now. So how do we find the right stock? Trade stocks like INNL versus stocks like Tesla, you know, well, it's all about risking the least amount of money with the high amount of reward. Now, don't take this the wrong way. I don't care what I trade. I just want to make money. Right, ladies and gentlemen? That's the only reason why you're here. You're here to make money. Now, how do we find these stocks? Well, every execution system gives you a big percentage gainers and losers. Now, I'm going to invite everybody, which you could see right here. This is our professional trading room. Okay, this is a stock actually they're trading right now, TCI, and you can see the students right here, how they're trading it, how it went from like 80 cents to $1.80. Stock's up, I don't know, what's the stock doing right now? TC, was it TGI, right? TGC. Stock's up like 81%. Now, some of you are probably looking at this stock and be like, wow, look at that stock, went unbelievable. Listen, just to let you know, is it cheap? Is it a penny stock? No, it's not. I don't deal with penny stocks. These are NASDAQ national stocks. It's just fortunately that this one is up 80%, and, you know, the traders are making good money on it, and so money's money, right? What's the big deal? So where do we find these stocks? We work through our big percentage gainers and losers, and what we do, ladies and gentlemen, is we try to make a day's pay, like CBIO. This stock we traded not too long ago, a couple of days ago. I don't know if you guys saw this stock, but it went from $6 in one day, went to 18. All right. Why it went up? Why did it go? You know, what was the news? Who cares? The bottom line is you made money on the position, you did your hours work, and then that's it. That is specifically what day trading is. Alan, you're absolutely right. And Alan, you know what? That's a great question. Okay, Alan's question is this, and I'm going to get to that question. Okay, and I'm not done. What I'm showing you right now, I'm going to talk about the losers, Alan, because that's a great question. But let me talk about the winners, because a lot of you are not capturing these winners. All right, a lot of you are not seeing these winners. All right, so what we do is we're looking for stocks that are moving, and we're trading those that have good volatility. And then what we're doing, all my students were working together as a team, and we're helping the ones that are losing money to get out of them, and then we're trying to find other ones, and we're working together by spotting iceberg orders and everything else, and that's what we usually do, working together. Now, regarding about reading charts, ladies and gentlemen, because this is another big mistake that people make. As a day trader, indicators do not work for day trading. They work for futures, they work for options, they work for swing trading. So if you're a day trader, day trading only work on volatility, okay? And we don't focus on indicators, because the problem is we only work about an hour a day. That's it. We work in pre-market, we make our day's pay, and if you're waiting for indicators to kick in, guess what? It's going to be a little too late, all right? So so if you know anybody that's talking, if you really want to learn what day trading's about, well, right off the bat, it's a lot easier and simpler to do it. And if you realize sometimes you can get so creative and so crazy with indicators, you think it look like a big thing, big as spaghetti. Just, you know, one thing we do is we teach things keeping it very, very simple. Just learning supply and demand, focus on those big buyers and sellers at those supply and demand, and work off that, okay? Because you know what? If you start adding all this stuff in, you know, you're going to get confused. So we have a lingo we go by. It's called the KISS method. Keep it super simple. All right. So, yes, Alan, we're going to talk about the losers. All right. We're going to talk about the losers. Okay. Mohammed, what time do I start? Well, here in the United States, and we work off Eastern time, the market opens up at 9:30 Eastern. Now, I usually start trading with my students and my traders at 8:30. We usually trade in the pre-market. Any of you guys trade pre-market or have access to pre-market and see what's going on? I don't know if you guys, because you should. That's where all the money is being made. You know, and I'll tell you why. A lot of people putting their orders in with these online brokers. So what brokerage firms are doing is they're buying it cheaper, and then when the market opens up, they sell it to them with a big profit. So kind of like running this, they're following their token, you'll follow their, basically following their tail and see where they're going. Because remember, we're not looking to move millions of shares. We're looking to make a couple $100. That's all. Believe me, they're not worried about us. That's what I could tell you. So let's talk about some stocks we recently traded. Okay, so basically we have a Twitter feed, and we post all our trades. By the way, this is only available to paid students, which I'm not selling you anything, but I'm just going to show you some of the trades that we did. AKRKX, I don't know if you guys saw this one. Nice little stock. Went from like $9 to 13 in one day. AMD, Will, these are all things that we just traded recently. And look what these stocks do. I mean, CYCC, probably never heard of that stock before, but look at that stock. On a swing trade, I mean, that stock went from 4 to like 6 in one day. I mean, look at all the big moves just recently. Look at that. It went from 7 to 11 in one day. Listen, if you can make 50 cents, You don't need to hold $3, $4 on 1,000 shares. So that's basically day trading. Now, to get to the question before, that some of you say, okay, you're talking about the winners, what about the losers? All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, don't judge us on the winners. I want you to judge us on the losers, and I'll tell you why. Everybody likes to talk about the winners. My job, what I do, is this. I don't teach my students and tell them what to buy and sell. First of all, that's illegal. Nobody is allowed to do that unless they are registered, a registered advisor, okay? Number two, even if I was allowed to, that's not what you want. You want to be able to figure it out on your own. So as a trader, ladies and gentlemen, what I do is my job is to teach you how to control losses. So I run basically two rooms. I have a teaching room and a trading room. So in our teaching room, that's where I teach you how to control losses. I teach you how to journal, which is what we give our students. I teach you, we trade side by side, tell you why, get in, get out of it. I'll get into losing trades. You'll tell me how to get out of it, okay, and why we're making money. And then we have a trading room where the traders trade, so basically what we do is the traders are trading within an hour, and then when the market's slow, they're in class or they're reviewing recordings. Now, nobody said trading was easy, okay? It's quite simple. It gets a lot easier as you move on, but I kind of could explain it like a diet. You know what the hardest thing about a diet is? The beginning, getting your mind into it, getting into, changing your eating habits, right? And you know what? If you follow the diet, we will all be in great shape. Now, my problem is I love food. I love to cook, so it's really hard for me, but I'm not going to blame my nutrition for it. Now, when we teach you, ladies and gentlemen, at Cyber Trading University, the only person you're going to blame is yourself. And the only reason why students will ever fail with CTU is greed. That's it. Okay? So, that's why you got to break yourself in slow. But I could tell you this, guys, you're not going to learn how to trade in 5 days. It's not going to happen. All right? If that was the case, then everybody would do it. It takes time to learn it. It takes months. It could take a year, But let me tell you something. This is something you do for the next 20, 30 years. So what's the big deal? To learn it slowly and wisely, or fast and lose it all. And that's what you don't want to do, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so I had a question right here. One of the students said, I think I had an earlier question, and how do you find these stocks and how do you screen for these stocks? Well, Dan, I just mentioned it earlier. What we do, how we screen for them, is we go through our big percentage gainers, and we usually trade the ones that have the most volatility in them and the big percentage gainers of them. Now, not obviously all of them are not tradable because they have big spreads. Some of them don't have good volume, and that's something that we teach you. That's a lesson in itself. But basically, that's realistically where we're going. We don't have no secret weapon indicator that's going to find it for us. We just want to trade where all the action is for the day. Next question here is, what do you call an iceberg order? It's usually 10 to 20 times of the norm, what most people put out there. So if people are trading 100 shares, 200 shares, an iceberg order will be somewhere within, the 5,000 range, 1,000, 1,500. That's usually what is more of an iceberg order. So if people are trading, 1,000 share lots, an iceberg order will be something like 10,000, 20,000, 50,000, and that's basically what you see. Now, let me explain to you why everybody loves this job, okay? Think about this for a second. For 1,000 shares, if a stock moves 50 cents at 500 shares, not $5, 50 cents, you do that 20 times a month, and remember, you're going to win, you're going to lose some. You're talking $100,000 a year salary, okay? Now, I know that some of you here on Social Security, some of you here maybe got laid off, some of you are sick and tired of giving your money to a mutual fund that just loses it for you. Honestly, you could do it yourself. You don't need them. You could do it yourself. Because the way they make their money, they don't make money on your winners and losers. You know how these brokerage firms make money? They make money charging you commission. What do you need them for? You could do it yourself and do it better. Listen, no one's going to care about your money better than you, okay? They honestly, no disrespect to them, they're just salesmen. They don't care about you. All they care about is churning you. They need you to trade. They need to trade your money so they can charge you commissions. So why do you need that? And you know what? Some of us will be happy just making, $200 a day, but you have an opportunity right now to get involved in one of the best jobs in the world, because you know what? What's happening today in the market, when I started, it was very difficult to get into this business. Very difficult. You needed a lot of money, number one. You had to be willing to lose a lot of money. You had to work for somebody. Ticket chart, you know what blows my mind? I just want to clarify something. When I started back in 1995, I used to pay $20 to $25 a ticket. $20 to $25 a trade, okay? To get in and out of a trade cost me $50, and I was still able to make $250,000. And there are people today that can't even make money paying $5 a ticket. It wasn't easier. It's easier now, okay? And ticket charges have dropped. And you know what? You couldn't get access to a direct access execution system back there. Back then, you used to pay $500 to $1,000 just to get a good platform to give you access, because brokerage firms, they give you like, okay, I'll give you this platform, but if I'm not going to make money trading your orders, then you know what? I'm going to make money on the software and the ticket charges. But things have dropped so much. Think about it. Think of the technology. Look at your cell phone, what you have gone. From today, it's just things got so much easier. But you know what the problem is? You got to find a mentor that's got to train you. And listen, there's some great presenters today, and you should know a little bit, from everybody. Bob, you know what? I feel terrible. That's horrible. Okay, I mean, nobody could see his question, but Bob said he blew up $450,000 already. So Bob, come drink the Kool-Aid, okay, and let's do it right. Because obviously, you could still do it. There's obviously something wrong. So let's learn how to do it the right way, okay? Because let me tell you, it is one of the best jobs in the world. You just need to have a mentor, okay? Yeah, Bob, if it's any consolation, you're not the only one out there. You're not the only. There's a lot of people like you out there, and you know what? When you come to Cyber Trading University, and you'll speak to some of our students, let me tell you, they've all been there and done that, and you know what? You're gonna make it back. You could make. I'm like, you can make it. You could make it back, but you gotta forget about the past, and you gotta focus, moving forward. And you know what? I just say it's a bad divorce. It's a really bad divorce. You knew you should have divorced alone. Listen, if you think marriage is expensive, try divorce. All right? People's like, oh my God, it's so expensive. Listen, it's not that you can't make it back. All right. So here at Cyber Trading University, one of the big things we teach is teamwork. Together, everyone achieves more. And that's what it is. So don't be the guy on the left with the 6 monitors, with the 1,000 indicators and with the 50 different TV stations. Be part of, Lita and Grant and Donna and Mike and Bill and the firemen and the cowboys and the border patrols and, be part of the grandmas and grandpas. Be part of them, the entrepreneurs. Be part of these people, because you know what? They're finding that they don't need those others. They could do it themselves. And that's what we preach at Cyber Trading University. And that's why I love teaching. Meet us in a trading room. Be part of it. Learn how to trade. Talk to one of our education advisors. They'll walk you through what we do here. We have a great staff. We have a great line of people out here at Cyber Trading University. They'll take your call. They'll walk you through it. You got to feel comfortable who you're with. And, my staff, let me tell you, one of the biggest, most important things I teach here is customer service, because I know what you guys have been through. I've been there, and believe it or not, a lot of my students have worked for CTU. They're some of our best surrogates. So this is what I'm going to be offering everybody, because I'm almost out of time here. I'm going to invite all of you guys to come and join me again for another free webinar, okay? And or you could come and, if you register, if you want to come and join and do a week trial, you could do that. It's cheap. It's $37. But I don't want you guys to spend $37 yet. You know, if you're ready, great. If you believe what's going on, great. And you could do it right after this. But come and join me for another free detailed webinar regarding about iceberg orders. Okay, it's going to be on April 13th. It's going to be next week. All right, and I'm going to do it from 12 to 1. And I'm going to do a little workshop talking about it a little bit more, because I know a lot of you guys, you got a lot of speakers going on, your brain's going crazy and stuff like that. And you probably can only retain so much. So to do it all over again, everybody can come and join me, and I'll do that. Now, how you could register, ladies and gentlemen, very simple. Just you go to Cybertrain University's homepage, and I'll give you the link. I'll throw it in there. Let me just copy this link. Oops, wrong page. CTU.co. You can go right to CTU.co, and right where you're here on the right where it says Quick Links, free stock trading class, and just sit there and register. I'll put the link in for you. We'll share it to everybody, and you can just register. All right. Now, does anyone else have any questions? How much does your program cost? Dan, you could do a week trial right now. I mean, this is going to be a workshop that I'm going to do, but if you want to come and join me for my live trading room for $37, you could do that for 1 week in the trading room. It runs all day. We do audio broadcast. You could do that too if you want. But you know what? If you feel ready for it, great. You know, if you're not, you want to come and learn more about the workshop, you could do that too. So you got two really great, you know, I really came in here, I wasn't planning on, you know, selling anything. I don't want you guys to feel pressured. You know, listen, if it's the right fit, it's the right fit. But if you want to learn more about, you know, what we preach, then, you know, feel free to come to our free stock trading class. All right. Any other questions, ladies and gentlemen? Hold on, let me just minimize this. And by the way, there's a number on the screen. You can always talk to an advisor. The word become, hold on, let me read this question right here. Also called iceberg, where can you only get small part of it? So his question is, part of the size, is it also called iceberg? You can only get small part of it, the rest is hidden, right? No, that's not true. First of all, anybody could refresh an order. And by the way, I want to clarify something. If you really think that there's something illegal going on in the market, then don't even waste why would you want to be in this business? Everybody thinks there's crooks, and yeah, you know what, it's a game. You just got to know how to play the game. But, you know, if you're worried about hidden orders and, you know, you hear this, you know, what do they call it? Everyone has all these different names, you know, refreshing and all that. Then if you want to know the real truth, then you got to learn it. But if you're worried about anything in the market, then you know what? Then do yourself a favor. Don't even trade, because all you're going to think of is that somebody has the upper hand on you, and you're just going to get yourself in trouble. Now, can people update their quotes and sell more? Absolutely. But all those orders are free. I mean, are real trades. Okay. Mary, how do you screen these stocks? Okay, so I kind of went through that. I'll go back to the PowerPoint that I showed you, how we screen. How we screen for those trades is we go through our, right here, let me show you. A lot of slides, there we go. Okay, so we just go through our big top 20 big percentage gainers and losers, okay? And we, you know, and what we teach here is we show you how to filter, you know, because you can't trade them all. There's only about 2 or 3 of them that are going to give you the least amount of risk with the high amount of reward. What is it? Okay, so Eric's got a great question. What is the typical day like for a trading room? What are the actual hours in the trading room open? Well, Eric, our trading room opens up at 8:30 Eastern time, and it runs till 4:30. Okay, we usually just trade the first hour of the open. We do a couple of audio broadcasts, so we don't want to get distracted. We do some traders talk. We do some workshops in certain times of the week. We do a morning meeting at 9 a.m. talking about what's moving, and we do an afternoon meeting to talk about what to trade going to the close. And then usually our trading room, the students are trading within themselves. We have instructors in there monitoring them, doing coaching, and then obviously I'm in there and we're putting in our feedback. Okay. Are your trading rooms virtual? Yes, they're all online. This is what obviously you're looking at one right now. You can see the students right now, they're trading, and you can see Josh is one of our instructors, and we're trading a stock. They're trading that stock CALI I just told you about. We saw earlier it went from 340. It broke through that resistance levels at 4, so they're doing pretty good. You can see the students right now. Wayne's doing pretty well. Jerry's just made 49 cents in YUMC. So yes, it's all virtual in that trading room. And you can get that trial for $37. And by the way, as a bonus, if you do the trial, if you're not happy within a week, we'll give you money back. Okay? Do we short, Dan? Absolutely. I love shorting. Are you kidding me? We had a great short yesterday. Let me bring up the stock, CRVS. Did you see CRVS yesterday? That was awesome. Here we go. Let me bring up this chart. That stock right at the open went from $20 all the way down to $8. Absolutely. Here, let me bring up the intraday chart and show you. Absolutely. Look at that one. Right at 12 o'clock, that thing just came straight down. Whatever goes up comes down twice as fast. Mike, you know what? If you really want to do it right, Mike, at Cyber Trading University, our programs run between 3 months to a year to do it right, you know. But once again, you're not going to go out there and, you know, spend money if it's not for you or not. That's why we want you guys to see if it's for you or not. And if there's something you want to do, an education advisor will explain a little bit more. But other than that, if you do the trial for free, see the workshops, listen to all the presenters, and you guys make a decision. Brian has a question. Does the volume of the dominant market makers have a lot to do with finding the good entries and exits? Not as much anymore, Brian, because now they're being exposed, but now what we do is we follow the high frequency trades. So they route their orders through something called an ECN, Electronic Communication Network, which is also, you could see it on something called Total View and stuff like that. But remember, believe it or not, I was actually one of the beta testers. If you read any of the books and if you check with your broker and they talk about the ECNs, I actually helped develop the ECNs to come to fruition. Remember my history. I was one of the original day traders, AK Souls Bandits, that started the whole industry. When I started, there was only about 1,000 of us. Now there's over 10 million around the world. So I'm kind of the great-grandfather who started the whole thing, and I'm still here. I love doing it. And you know what? If you ever get a chance to read my book, it's a very fast read. You'll learn a lot from that too. Well, once again, Tim, I don't trade futures. Okay, that's not my forte. You got some great futures presenters here. That's why you're in today's event. And my goal is to kind of just teach more stock trading, a little bit of swing trading, and how you could apply those to your options. Michael, no, I do not trade Forex. Not because you can't make money with it. It's just, you know, I feel like I don't have the leverage in Forex and in the spread. Stocks to me is the most easiest thing to trade. You know, when you watch TV all day, you hear they always talk about stocks, the stock market. So I kind of just, you know, go with the flow. And also being in New York, it's more of a stock environment. That's basically what I do. How about options on stocks? Well, George, that's another great question. Okay, so if you want to be a good options trader, okay, to be a good options trader, ladies and gentlemen, let me just bring up this slide over here so if you guys can know where to register. To be a good options trader, you first have to learn how to trade the stock. It's the movement of the stock that makes the option move. So if you don't know what stocks are moving, how do you know what options to trade? Because you don't want to be a poor man playing a rich man's game, okay? I don't know if you guys know this, but 90% of options expire worthless, all right? So instead of unless you're selling the option, chances are you have a 10% chance of winning. So I preferably, you know, I like to do leap trades. Maybe I want to tie up some of my buying power on certain stocks, but I really like the company. then I might do a swing trade or maybe do an option if I can get a good deal on it. But the first form of action is you always trade the stock first. Okay? Any other questions? Now, regarding about placing orders, okay? Well, that is another big issue people have a problem with. You know, you look at an execution system and you get very overwhelmed. Now, at Cyber Trading University, what we do is we'll break you down one slide at a time, one window at a time, because let me tell you something. A lot of these execution systems, they're trying to appease every type of trader, a forex trader, a swing trader, an options trader. You know, and you'll notice everybody has different executions laid out differently. So it could be very overwhelming when you're just the type of guy probably just calling somebody over the phone, placing an order out there. So and I know not everyone likes to trade. You know, don't like to how can I say it? You know, change platforms and stuff like that. But they're pretty much all the same. And I'll be honest with you, 80% what they give you, you don't even need it. It's all window dressing. How about weekly options? Well, Dan, you know what? Once again, if you want to be a good options trader, you first have to learn how to trade the stock. You got to be a good stock trader first to be a good options trader. So if you're doing a weekly, monthly, yearly, whatever it may be, you got to understand how to be. Listen, the cheapest trade to do is when you trade a stock, you got a penny spread and a cheap ticket. The problem with an option, now you got to throw in time, and now you're talking about a bigger spread. So you have a lot going against you. So instead, before you take that high risk, look at the lower risk, and if there's an opportunity on the option, then you'll trade the option. What is the performance like in the trading room? It's very, very, Eric, it's very, very intense. It's a lot of fun, a lot of action, you know, a lot of interaction, a lot of, you know, a lot of camaraderie going on. It's a great, I mean, you have to go in to see it yourself. And by the way, if you do that, Eric, once again, we're doing a trial. You don't have to buy it. Once again, you could just do the free one, but if you want to buy, it's $37. You're there for a week. You don't like it, we'll give you money back. Money back guaranteed, you know? So that's the way that goes about. Any other questions? I got about 2-3 minutes. I want to give you guys some chance to register and get ready. I know you got another presenter coming in, so some of you probably want to go get a fresh cup of coffee because I know you got they got another 3 presenters coming in, and get ready for it. George has another question. What is the ratio of your buyers and sellers now? Has made changes so the way that things are. Well, you know, the problem with shorting, it's not the American dream. So everybody's different. Some people just strictly love shorting. If you knew and were able to convince yourself that you only want to short, trust me, you will make more money shorting than going long. But usually the ratio is about like 8-to-1. You got 8 longs versus 2 shorts, I would probably say, if that helps. Well, yes, and you know, Chris, the thing is this: don't judge the traders on their winners, judge them on the losers in the trading room, and how we control the losses, because I think that's the biggest thing everyone needs to understand. Where is level 3 from? Well, your brokerage firm offers it to you. Some people might call it total view. All right. What I recommend you to do is this: call your brokerage firm and ask them about it. You know what? If they don't tell you and they say they don't have it, just do me a favor. I'm going to give you my email address. Just feel free to you could basically, I just put in the chat room. I don't know if you guys could see that. You could just email me at faustop@ctucorp.com, and I'll tell you where to get it. Okay? Well, once again, Chris, Thinkorswim's a great company. They're great for options. But if you like that platform, send me an email and I'll tell you where you can get it. You could buy it directly from the exchanges through the New York Stock Exchange, NASDAQ Exchange. So, but you know what? The most important thing you need to do first, Eric, is register for my event. Let me teach you how it works first, and then you'll know the importance of it. So you don't go out there because listen, you're going to learn just enough to be dangerous, okay? So if you believe that this stuff exists, let me show you how it works first, and then you make a decision if you want to do this or not. Jeremy's question says, my biggest mistake is trading evenings after work. I see that it was a blind trading. Yeah, you know what? I know. And listen, with today's technology, you can do it right on your phone. And you know what? There'll be a way that you can work around it. So Jeremy, the thing is this: first, you got to learn what trading's about. You got to know how to speak the language, and hopefully, maybe one day you can replace it. But yeah, you could do swing trading. You could. You're just working 10 times less in volume. So you're working a little bit more of a swing. So you could apply both. What we do, you could apply for both. So, maybe you got yourself a little too heavy in a position than you should have. But once again, that's, you got to ask yourself a question: who really trained you? And how? And not only he could be the greatest guy in the world, but how well is his students doing? Are they making money? So that's what you have to look at. When shorting, do you ever find, from Steve, question, when you're shorting, do you ever find it difficult to locate shares to short? Not really. It all depends on who your broker is, if they have stock and inventory to let you short. But most stocks that we short, there's definitely inventory from the brokerage firm. But what I do is I'll teach you before you do that you don't encounter that by first checking it and doing the short first, something out of the money, so you're not wasting your time. You don't want to have this great short and then find out there's no shares for you to short, because that will kind of stink. Any other questions? Any other questions? All right, so listen, I see a lot of guys over here just registering right now. So listen, for the ones that are registering and coming and joining, listen, I look forward to seeing you next week in the where I'm going to talk about a little bit more on the high frequency trades and how it works. And for some of you that want to upgrade and do the $37 and come join the trading room, you could start it now. You could start on Monday. It's perfectly fine. Doesn't matter to me. But at least you learn a little bit about it. But before I go, guys, I want to leave you something with something very, very important. WinInvest, that's hosting this event, went over and beyond to invite a lot of you guys here. Okay, and the thing is this: you got some great presenters, and every single one of you should sample a little bit of everybody's. And obviously, you don't got to do it all at once. So right now, we're doing a crash course in one day. You should sample a little bit about everybody's and know the real truth from true professionals that do this every day, okay? So I'm not saying I'm the best at whatever, I sound very good at it, but you got to make sure that you learn what you want to do. But don't think you can go out there and listen to a couple of us speakers out there, okay, and then thinking it'll go apply and do it on your own. Because let me tell you something. It's an 80 to 90% failure rate, and the only advice I can give you, you better off just close your account and don't do it at all, because trading, and you know what? Whatever money you have invested, trust me, you're going to lose more than that, because you'll borrow from your spouse, you'll borrow from your friends, you probably off your credit card, because you're going to try to make it back. First, find out if trading's for you. The first, number one thing you need to do is get yourself educated. Then number two, you open up the brokerage firm account. And then number three, with that mentor that you like, and it could be several, take a full-blown course with them, do it right, surround yourself with great traders, part of their team, and then you will succeed. Because here at Cyber Trading University, what we preach is we want to trade against the uneducated, not the educated. And that's because there's so many uneducated in the world, and that's how you become a winner. Because in the trading, there's a winner and there's a loser. So that's how we have to look at it. No problem, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you very much. So WinInvest, thank you so much for having me, guys, here. I have to run. I have another big event that I'm hosting here in New York. We're doing a big on-site class. We have about 50 of our students here that are spending 3 days here, and I got to get back to them. But once again, I look forward to seeing upcoming events. And once again, thank you very much, WinInvest, for having me here. Guys, enjoy the rest of the presentation.